welcome back to the next segment at the Savvy Girl Summit. I'm really excited about our next guest. She is someone that I highly respect and admire. I love our conversations, and I'm really glad that I get to bring one of our conversations to light. She is an author and an entrepreneur, and her name is Demetria Ballard. And I want you all to give her a warm welcome today. Hi, Demetria.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing very well. I brought her here because she's an author, she's an entrepreneur, she's done nonprofit work. You have done some very remarkable things. We have our jobs that we do every single day, but there's also those things that we feel, drawn towards in terms of our mission and our purpose that God puts in us. So that's one of the things that I want to encourage women with the summit is to really hone in onto what you feel God is calling you to, that mission that he's kind of placed in your heart to do, because there's
Yeah.
so much more that God may want to produce out of our lives. You've been in the education field for quite some time.
23 years that I've been, in education. Yes, it's been very, very, very long. It doesn't even seem like it's been that long.
So can you tell us how you kind of transitioned into nonprofit work and what that was about?
I started my nonprofit in 2014, and that is when I left my job. I had been in education at the time for like 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
And I just felt so overwhelmed and I was stressed out. And I just, I felt like it was time for me to go. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I just don't. It was like December of 2013. And I prayed about it because sometimes, we in our emotions, we in our feelings, and we hearing all different types of voices. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I talked to my husband. I talked to a few other people. We had to sign our contract every April, whether we're going to return for the following school year. It sat on my desk for like a week or two. And when I think a few days before, I signed that I was resigning. And I remember feeling like, okay, am I making the right decision? God, is this you? But I said, if it doesn't work out, I can always go back to education. I remember one of my parents, she came back up to the school and she was like, I just came to, first of all, to thank you. And she was like, and you are going to impact so many lives and so many people.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow. I went to a women's conference, left the conference, and I was like, I now believe what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to start a girls program. And I had already been kind of doing it over the years at church, but it was Christian based,
Yeah.
But I was like, this is what I believe I'm supposed to do. And I remember I got to work. I didn't wait. I didn't sleep on it. I got home and then I got my pen and paper and just started thinking of names. And I prayed about names for the program. And I remember telling someone about it and, that I knew at one of the schools. And this is like one of the top middle schools of our district. And they were like, oh my gosh, like that sounds awesome. Our girls need that. And so they talked to the principal. We met, and then I met with the whole leadership team. They loved the program and my foot was in a door. And I felt like, oh my gosh, like this is huge for me to be in. It's the school named after Warren Buffett's mother, Alice Buffett Middle School. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like this is huge for me to be going to Buffett and doing my program. The first group that I did, these ladies, I still keep in touch with. They are now, one is getting ready to leave. She's going to 4 hours away to go to do her residency for a chiropractor, to become a chiropractor. So they're all like in their early 20s and, doing their thing, and they're in school. I was in about 4 to 6 schools, one middle school, and then a couple of elementary schools. And I felt like God just was opening the doors. It was not me. I wasn't going and knocking down the doors. It was just word of mouth. I could be in a building and what are you doing now? I started my program and they're like, oh my gosh, we need this program in our school. And I did it for 4 years, enjoyed it. So that's kind of like the story of how I started the Chrysalides Project.
I feel like it took me way too long to kind of figure out my place in the world. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? What can women do to help young girls find that path and figure that out earlier on? And what can we instill in them early so that they kind of know which direction they should go in?
The biggest thing that we can do as women is, number one, heal or be healed from our own trauma, insecurities, hurt, rejection, or whatever our hangups are. We got to heal, because how we gonna help? And this is what I learned, because you and I, we had a conversation a little over a week ago about,
Yeah.
I stopped doing the program about 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and a year or two ago, I realized that I was trying to save myself through those
Through
girls.
those girls.
I was trying to save that broken part of me and give them what I felt like I never had. And I felt, and that's okay to do that, because people do things because of their own experiences. But I
Absolutely.
was trying to do it because I was broken, and I was trying to go back and save that
Yeah.
15, 16-year-old girl, because I felt like nobody saved me.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing that we can do as women. We got to step up. We got to be in our places. We have to love them. And we just need to continue to speak truth to them in
Yes.
love. Realize that we were once young too, and quit judging and looking at them like, why she got that? Now she know better. Well, why did you have it on when you was 15?
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? Why did you, if you couldn't do it, you did want it, most of us. And maybe we might not be doing exactly the same things that they did, but we were out there. We were doing our thing, unless we was like in church. I grew up in a household, a non-Christian household, non-religious household. And so I did what I knew to do, what I had saw around me to do. Number one, don't judge them. Number two, love on them. And number three, just speak on them. If you know, sometimes I'll see young ladies and I could tell that they're lost like I was, and I recognize the me in them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah.
So rather than judging them or coming against them, you got to build a relationship, because a
True.
lot of times people are not going to want to receive from you if they don't know. You can't be, now, young lady,
Exactly.
why you wearing that? You need to pull your skirt down. You don't do that. Some may receive it, but a lot of times it's hard to receive things when
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
haven't invested in that person. You haven't
Exactly.
poured into that person or built that relationship with them. So build a relationship. Catch the fish before you try to clean it.
Right.
Hey girls, how y'all doing? Hey, what's up? You know, try to like win them over, build that relationship.
So I want to kind of transition our conversation into about your journey into becoming an author. You're writing children's books.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us where that inspiration came from and what gave you the courage to step out and actually do that.
I never had a desire to write a book. You know, I post a lot on social media. I made a post talking about insecurity. Yes, when I was in high school, I allowed this person to abuse me. I allowed them to call me out of my name. And I just started naming all these things that I allowed within that relationship. And I said, and do you want to know why I allowed all that? And I said, because of insecurity. And I said, I will talk about her tomorrow. The next morning, like about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, between sleep and between like, it's like my body's waking up, but I'm just hearing just what I'm going to write. And I grabbed my laptop and I just started writing and writing and writing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't post this. This is like a book. I wrote that manuscript within a couple of days, and I
Jesus.
started researching a whole lot about writing a children's book. I hadn't known anybody to write a children's book before, so I didn't know the process. And I literally spent about a month. I mean, countless hours looking at illustrators, looking at um,
Wow.
editors and book designers, and what is the process, and a ISBN and barcode, just the whole process, watching YouTube videos and just reading. By that September, I had signed a contract with my illustrator. That October, I was working with an editor. and we did 3 rounds of edits. And during that process, I hired a book designer. The book was done, I think, by that May or June. And then I had my book signing, I believe, that October.
Wow.
Like a year later. It was a scary experience because, like I said, I didn't know what the process was, but I know, like my husband always says, when you have your mind set to something, he was like, you're going to do it. And a lot of people that know me know that about me. Like, he's like, my husband always says, you're very resourceful. And I just dug in and found how to do it. And it made it a little easier when I did it the second time around. I did it. And it was just crazy from going from an idea to like when I opened the box and just to see the cover of my book. And I was just like, wow, like I really wrote this while I was sleeping.
It was just,
it was coming. It was coming. I was hearing, and I would get up at 3 or 4 and grab my laptop, and I had to get it out, and I would write until my alarm was going off for me to get up and go to work.
I'm noticing a theme here. You don't take a long time to respond to those things as they come to you, but a lot of people don't have that. What would you say to women watching today, or when you feel like that unction or that leading to do things like that, things are going to impact people? What would you say to women watching on how to respond to that and to have the courage to do something about it? Don't let it just sit.
I'm not saying this like in a cliche, like I can't take no credit. Like, you know what I'm saying? People like, I give all glory to God. I don't take I can't steal his glory. I'm really, I haven't, I haven't always been that way. I feel like because I'm so excited and I see it.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I'm about to do this. And and it's like, once I start researching something, it's like, I just cannot stop because I'm just driven like that, and pray about it. But once it's like, God gives me the green light, like, oh, well, let's go. What are we waiting for? Let's do this. Let's get it cracking. You know what I'm saying?
Demetria is just inspiring all around. So I really pray that this inspired you to lean in into those moments when God is downloading things in you that he wants you to do to make an impact.